Do you have a homeless problem there in St. Louis?
An unbelievable homeless problem. It's,
I was gonna guess yes.
And you know what's like crazy is like the homeless here, the strong cull the weak. And so there's and so the homeless here are
Darwinian
hardcore.
homeless society.
The first time I went to Seattle and I saw their kind of homeless, I'm like, this is like a different species of homeless. They're like almost blasé about it, where I'm like, that guy has a decent watch. His shoes aren't even that dirty.
He's an
like,
outdoor camper.
Yeah, this guy's like
An urban
pretending
camper.
for it. Whereas like you go to like downtown St. Louis after a Blues game and there's just a guy like his voice his gibbers echoing off the underside of an overpass. Just and I'm like, this guy's standing so close to the guy that's playing guitar, and then this other guy who's handing out gum, and I'm like, I'm not going to take gum from you. You're a homeless person. Like,
they're bad in Atlanta, depending on where you go.
Terrible.
There's definitely two different schools of homeless. There's some of them that have they're like outdoor homeless. I mean, they all are, but
yeah.
They live on the sort of the underpasses, and they have these tent cities in like tucked away places where they usually don't get bothered. Sometimes it'll be like this island of trees completely surrounded by fast highway, and it's like, how do they get in and out of there? But it keeps them from being
Very
bothered.
carefully.
But then there's like the more metropolitan homeless. I remember we would go to a hockey game or a basketball game, and then they have a smoking area you can go to at halftime on the exterior of the building. But they sort of cage it in because we all have tickets, or they're going to let us out and then back in again, and that's kind of a tricky process for a game. The homeless know that there's going to be people who can afford a basketball game and cigarettes outside, and so they're just waiting. It's like feeding time.
Yeah,
Raleigh doesn't
Lots of
seem to have
beggars.
any homeless anymore. Like if you talked to me a year ago, I'd be like, yes, I can tell you right where the exit is that they tend to go. They found a little patch of ground that's not really near any other like commercial or residential real estate. And there was like a camp there. And if you look through the trees, especially in the winter when you can see farther, then you could see like the tents and stuff. Then Raleigh went in there with some over the top amount of dumpsters, like 9, and they cleaned up tons of stuff. And I'm like, you just stole everything from them. I felt sympathy for the homeless, and now I don't know where they went to.
Problem solved.
I don't know.
They
where
went south for the winter.
But
Dude,
I
that's
can't
why I
see
like
them
them
anymore.
Maybe it's like just the St. Louis homeless I've seen, but every time I see someone say like, no, a lot of these people are just a fucking tie and a Planet Fitness bird bath shower away from working at a respectable business. I'm like, what? Where? Yeah, where are the haircut away? Like, where are these homeless people? Because the ones I see are crazy people who you can't like if you had a young child walking with you, you would get nervous over it because you'd be like, I don't know what this erratic lunatic might do. He might sing at me. He might lash out and try and strike me.
Feces.
He might throw feces at me. He might try and eat my face like that Florida guy. Like,
yep,
true.
You can't be letting these people roam about. We need to
like that other guy
field somewhere and let him run free.
Remember that train accident the other day where they were like that homeless man, unconnected to like the crash, picked up a dead man's leg and was carrying it off and eating it actively,
crazy.
And the police had to take the leg from him.
Yeah, that guy's a future Barnes and Noble employee, just a shower away.
There's video
like that, but
they're like, hey, give that leg back.
I saw that.
I don't know how you fix somebody's drug addiction. Apparently, that's pretty hard to do, but that's what they are from the job. They don't seem crazy or even like that stupid. They're just addicted.
I hope we get that drug that meth head from last week to come on and talk to us some more, because we were getting right to the heart of the fun of doing methamphetamine, and I wanted more.
That guy.
You guys had a meth head on last week?
Very briefly. One of Gavin McInnes's friends is a meth head, and he briefly came on after Gavin was on, and we asked him some meth related questions, as you do. Like, they were all meth related, and he seemed to have his head on straight.
We were talking about meth earlier, and I was saying some people do meth casually and they're fine. I have a meth head here.
Oh, come on over, sir or madam.
I hope it's him in a costume.
Residential meth head.
Oh, no, it's an actual. Oh. So
how's it going?
Head.
Yeah, it's me. I love it. I love that shit.
I thought you'd be thinner.
Listen, I've probably been doing meth since 2000.
Okay. Do you do it every day or just a treat? Once in a while?
I did for 11 years straight. I did every day.
What's the best thing to do on meth? Like what's the sex? Tell me
sex.
what's better about meth sex to not
Oh
meth
my
sex.
god, they call it chemsex. It's just intense, but it gets crazy though, because you'll get people will get their weird perversions that'll come out and like fucking.
It lowers your inhibitions.
Stab a chick? Or does some chick stab you?
Yeah. She stabbed me when I was fucking her.
Oh, wow.
Does
Was
meth
she on-
make it
Yeah.
last too long? I don't know if it's related.
Oh yeah, it's not like coke where you get coke dick and you can't get it up. Like you'll
Uh-huh.
get it up and it'll be up for like a week.
Yeah.
Like
It
you can
sounds
have
way better
sex.
than Coke.
I remember one time I was banging this chick, and we didn't leave the bedroom, honest to God, for 24 hours straight.
Oh, that
Never
must have
left.
smelled terrible.
Dude, I think we sweat through the mattress, the box spring, the rug, and the floor. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Oh my
You just
god.
rotted the
Pretty
floorboards out.
How often do you dabble with the meth now?
Very
Holidays,
How does it frequently now? Yeah, like special occasions, special events.
Yeah.
Christmas,
yeah,
Mother's Day.
My regular was 6 days up, 1 day sleep.
So what's the trick to doing meth and not dying? You know, living a life.
You don't smoke it and you don't shoot it.
You
Okay.
snort it.
Sniff it or ingest it. Like you could just throw it in your mouth and eat it, or
Oh,
put it in your. I was in a motorcycle club. I used to put it in my water or Gatorade and shake it up
Jesus.
and just drink it as I go out around my
a
day.
little meth
Oh,
at
wow.
a time. He made a
Yeah.
gator meth.
Yeah.
How do you
Did you-
find
You
a meth
worry about
dealer?
being in possession because they're not going to taste your water or your
It'd be
Gatorade.
so unless the cop like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so thirsty, sir. Could I just
Yeah. 'Cause,
well
excuse me, I know it's 117 degrees out here in Utah, but can I have some of your Gatorade? No,
you've
No,
shown
it's
me a whole new
specialized.
side
I
of
know
the meth.
guys. I'm from New York. I live about a mile from Gavin, and there's guys that I know that are in their 80s that have, for the last 40 years, religiously every day gotten up and put in their coffee or their orange juice or whatever morning breakfast that they're having, like an old school like 80s Coke spoon amount of meth into it, just shake, stir it in, and drink it, and go about their day. And
So
they're like,
they're still around because I guess they're keeping it to a low dose.
yeah,
every day.
if you low dose it, if you microdose it, you'll be all right. But once
Microdosing
you
meth.
start- the thing is people start to do it. They think it's like Coke, and they start laying out big rails, and they overdo it. And
Mhm.
like
Okay.
we used to call it getting caught deep in the bag.
Yeah,
Damn.
Why
Is
did he go to
meth-
prison?
meth.
Yeah.
I thought it was stealing, but it turned out it wasn't. He's like, it's
Yeah.
not a bad guess, but it wasn't stealing. It was something else. Did he?
I thought it was just
possession?
meth related, like probably
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
high on meth in public, which is
Yeah.
real. But it's really off-putting to see someone clearly on meth in public.
Can you
Yeah, but you
identify
can-
somebody on meth? I wouldn't be able to.
You can tell because they're jittering about and they're tweaking, like you
Yeah.
can like a homeless, like not homeless, like a heroin addict, someone who just shot up or is like taking a bunch of bootleg pills. They're
Sleepy
gonna do
looking.
that like you know where
Yeah.
you see the people standing in like those Philly
Mm.
streets where some
And then
documentarian
they
drives
start to
by and
hover.
they're all leaned over like
Yeah.
this,
Oh,
like
yes, I've
almost
seen that.
catatonic. That's a heroin addict. A meth
Uh-huh.
addict is going to be like screaming to himself about something on the street corner, making everyone feel really uncomfortable about it.
Which one's similar to morphine?
Heroin.
Heroin.
Heroin, yeah, both opioids.
That's on brand for St. Louis.
It is. Yeah, there was another like how much St. Louis sucks like big post where it was like St. Louis records 4 homicides and 5 shooting victims in first 3 hours of the new year. It was like, can it ever just be like St. Louis man invent something useful? You know, just something like
Invented
that.
a gun with 4
gun.
barrels, Dave.
Exactly. I was going to say,
Oh,
the gun
he's
to fuck
4
more
times the
people.
mass shootings of a normal psychopath.
Yeah, let me.
He has a
find this.
hammer with claws on both ends.
They're calling it a sledgehammer.
A double claw, just a useless fucking hammer. Absolutely useless. Here, a video on Public Freakout went kind of not big, but it was
Oh, is
reposted
this
in our
all the men
subreddit,
shooting in the street?
and it's New Year's Eve in St. Louis.
Oh,
if you want to
shit,
watch a little bit of this,
Yeah, this
you
is.
don't have to
pretty
watch
good.
the whole thing because it's 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
There's
But
so
Public
much
Freakout's like my
violent gun
favorite.
content in St. Louis that it stretches to 6 minutes of highlights.
Yeah. I'm ready to click. You guys are.
We'll check it out. St. Louis, Missouri. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Ready, set, play. Oh, he has like a Cal, can you identify that gun? I always
He's got an AR-15 of some kind. Looks like he's been playing a lot of Tarkov. He's modded it out quite nicely.
yeah, I can't tell my AR from my M4s or
He's got a nice rail, got a nice stock on there. He's customized this bad boy out.
Can you tell the pistol? It's dark.
just firing into the air. Someone died.
Oh my
from
god,
that.
they're just opening up Snapchat map things. That's so.
This guy goes full Yosemite Sam. Watch this.
Dude, this is very dangerous. They're in a parking lot.
Oh man.
Or no, that's just the street.
Who's shooting? What are they? What is?
They're just
He's got
shooting
a
into the
shotgun.
air.
Are you allowed in St. Louis?
In
No.
some places, yes.
It's in some places, yes. No, you can't fire into the air.
No, really, you
Randomly.
can.
Why?
Well, I mean,
Really?
in this area of the city, no cops are going to
Fourth-
come around and tell you to stop.
Oh, it's a quiet night actually on 4th Avenue.
It's a quiet night tonight.
So Kyle, for people listening, which kind of gun is the safest to shoot in the air? I'm thinking shotgun, birdshot.
I
Yeah, if
agree
you had a
with you.
shotgun with birdshot, but the thing is that people don't understand. If you shoot it straight up in the air, there's
Mhm.
not going to be a problem because the bullet's going to go up and it's going to do that thing like you see in the cartoons where it just comes straight back down.
Mhm.
And the terminal velocity of most rounds is rather low. You'd be like, ow. The problem
really?
is people shoot at an angle, and so they carry their speed and inertia into people's roofs at this like rainbow kind of arc. Like if you were able to shoot straight up, but you're really counting on the person shooting a firearm in the street to have a lot of
Well, it seems like
control.
even nearly straight up would be pretty good.
Nearly
Did you
straight
guys
up is
stop
much
watching
better
this
than
video?
45 degrees.
No, I'm still watching the video.
They're
Oh.
still shooting guns.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there's
Videos
6
are
minutes
starting
of
way
this.
over.
It just keeps going. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
up.
Okay. So I guess I could. Yeah, I skipped through. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Oh, I
At
said
no
go to
point do they say,
424
y'all,
though.
we need to work on our life decisions. I applied at a technical school, and then they just light him up. Pop, 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 pop.
I think you guys want to go to 420 though.
420.
I know I do.
I'm ready. Oh yeah.
Give it some time.
I want to celebrate New Year's with this guy.
All
Just
right.
kind of the little
And what's on the
submachine gun.
end of his gun?
That's a grip.
That's a Loudner.
A
It looks like a banana peel.
What? You gonna hit who? I'm gonna hit Wells Fargo.
Gonna hit Wells Fargo?
If the security won't,
He's shooting at Wells Fargo. What?
they don't even need a scope. They don't even need a scope.
I gotta say,
Oh,
these,
this guy and look, it blows right through the
Whoa,
stop.
they don't need a
stop line or
scope.
Stop sign while he's
You talking about a no scope? He's talking about no scoping.
I'm just-
Real
he's
life.
got the pink Taurus.
This
This is his girlfriend's gun. Oh, it was a girl. She had nails.
no different person.
No, that was a girl.
Yeah, that was a girl at first. This guy's
You
I
gonna
don't know
hit
what
Wells
that is.
Fargo? Ugh.
Everyone just chills with their gun on their lap like that.
No.
yeah.
It's cheaper than circumcision.
Yeah. I also like to brandish weapons at
Oh, nice.
Circle
He's got
K.
a whole.
Yeah, he's-
Why is he
Crack
pointing his
pea.
guns at himself on his belly like that?
he shouldn't be. You know,
Yeah,
this
look
is
at my
gun
shoes.
safety.
Look at my liquor.
Why does everyone have
My gun.
alcohol and guns in their on their lap in St. Louis? St. Louis people, you guys gotta relax.
Because we're the coolest.
This belongs on I Am Very Badass.
Dude.
What what an awful way to spend your New Year's Eve. Some woman died from a falling bullet. Not
Dude,
here,
is that
but
what
somewhere in the country that happened. I saw like a story because apparently it's not super uncommon for people to just fire guns into the air on New Year's
Maybe
Eve. It
not where
seems
you're
like
from.
Stupid.
that's a very expensive
There was a-
celebration.
There was a
Yeah.
warning. So in a lot of places, that's the time of year where you can discharge firearms into the air. It's 4th of July, New Year's, have it up. In Gwinnett County here in Atlanta, they made a big deal. They're like, if we see you shooting firearms in the air, we're going to take the gun away. We're recommending 1 year of prison and fines. Because last year, a bullet went through a guy's roof, hit him in the head,
Killed him.
killed him.
Oh, he's just probly watching, some mindless TV.
Watching
in
the
next
ball
moment.
drop.
Yeah. 3,
10,
2,
9.
bang! He's just
Dude,
the
that's
gypsy was wrong. I'm gonna make it.
it went through it. I wish I knew the angle, right? Because I feel
It
like
was probably, it's one of these.
It had to be.
It's 35 degrees. That's the thing, it's some basic math, some basic physics. If you
This
go
is
straight
complex
up,
math by my standards.
if you go straight up with a bullet, eventually it's like throwing a ball in the air, right? Versus throwing a ball at an angle. If you're throwing one from right field all the way to home plate, it's going to have some sting on it when it gets there. But if you throw one straight up in the air and let it stop and then just fall back down, it has a terminal velocity based on its mass.
That's where you're wrong. I've tested that theory, and I threw it from right field to home plate, and it just kind of rolled across, Kyle. It had no sting on it at all by the time it arrived.
It's that whole myth about dropping pennies off the Empire State Building, right? People are just going to get annoyed.
One of the big questions. So I'm not an expert on this, but
true.
I think that bullets are designed to sort of stay straight and pointed, whereas pennies tumble. So if I were to drop a bullet off the Empire State Building, I think it might do the aerodynamically worse thing.
So a bullet has a better what's known as a ballistic coefficiency, and that's how well it cuts through the air, right? But all objects have a terminal velocity. The human body's terminal velocity is roughly 150 miles per hour, right?
And that is enough to kill you. Yeah.
Well, it's enough to kill the body that's falling at 150 miles per hour, and anything.
And the target,
and the target. But
I'm such a fucking idiot.
really
I never considered that penny thing wasn't true. I guess I've never given it any thought. But I was like,
never thought about it either.
Random deaths in New York would be outrageous
Some
if
guy
that was allowed.
Throwing a handful of pennies every day at his
We got a mass
Fuck
shooter,
you.
and it's a guy up there with like just a gym bag full of those
Ball
rolls,
bearings.
just opening them up. And
They're like, we
throwing
can't confirm
pennies.
anything other than the fact that he's definitely not Jewish. He's definitely not. He's been throwing pennies away this entire
Jesus,
time.
I was slow to catch on.
There's
But yeah,
someone out there,
pennies,
he's like, this is just a damn shame.
There's a
Jews
bunch
are
of
down there
Jews
like-
down below with helmets.
Yeah,
pennies,
it's Jewish Christmas. Yeah.
pennies tumble and flip around, whereas bullets, I think, would dive through the ground. And that terminal velocity, like you mentioned, it's part weight, I think, but it's definitely part aerodynamic profile.
Yeah, it's mass and the aerodynamic profile, which in bullets is that fancy ballistic coefficiency word.
Obviously.
But it still doesn't reach a speed that's deadly. I've been hit in the head with shot out of a shotgun that someone had shot at not a sharp angle, certainly not right at me. I know guys have been peppered, as they say, basically just
Buck
shot
or
at
bird.
It happens a lot when you're dove hunting because you've got a field full of guys. Some of them are drinking, and the bird, if a bird flies low enough, then the angle of your shotgun is obviously much lower, and so it could easily hit your buddy across the field. And
Yeah, that's how you
usually
Dick Cheney somebody.
That's how you Dick Cheney somebody.
I went shooting pheasant like a couple
fun.
years ago. Yeah, and like what's crazy about that is, like women and children were in the bushes in front of you, a bit above you, and they're going up to the feeding spots and shaking the trees to fly the birds out. So like when you're ready, like we're there, and then they're like, they go, women and children go, and they start shaking the trees. And so you're aiming at women and children, shaking trees. You can't see them, but they're in the woods.
Yikes.
And then you just have to wait until it's above the tree line. Like that's it. That's when you shoot. But like also like we're drinking. The last time I held a gun was in like Kyle's backyard, like 7 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, there was like 3 times where I was just like, I'm like, oh yeah, there's people in there. We're shooting at people. And they're just hoping that we aim up more.
Yeah.
Mythbusters did the bullet thing, and they agree with everything Kyle said. If you shoot it straight up and it comes down, it's only lethal in the case that it hits you in the eye, mouth, or ear hole. Okay.
Oh, that's most of my head.
A lot of holes in our heads.
Percentage-wise, no, it is not.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's mostly cranium here.
It also agreed with Kyle in that if you're just off straight up, you're pretty good. But the range at which things start to be bad was more than I thought. Like even if you're above 45 degrees, it's still lethal on the way down. Like you need to be much closer to 90.
Yeah.
There it is.
You really need to be straight up. And the problem is people don't know that. And you saw how these people were doing it.
Yeah, they were doing it lethally.
They're just,
all those
they're
St.
doing
Louis
it fairly
people?
lethally.
Yeah.
The way they're shooting.
Some of them are almost shooting horizontally.
And bullets really go much, much farther than you would ever imagine. People are like, yeah, it probably goes to as far as I can see. No, it goes farther than that.
Yeah,
it goes farther than that. It goes
Picture how
over
far
that.
you could see. Further
well,
than that.
well, if it's flat, you can see 25 miles, but they don't go that far. But you know, most
I see we got a
landscapes-
round earther.
Is there a gun?
I like the eye roll.
Is there a gun that does go that far?
Yeah, but they're like
Another
they're
bootlicking follower, you know,
like naval guns on like destroyers and stuff. They
No.
shoot over
I
the
mean like that.
fucking-
Like a one guy can hold and put down. And
You
set
know,
up
I
or
don't know the
something.
maximum range of stuff like that if you're just looping one, but my guesstimate would be about 12 miles or something like that.
for a gun, just a regular
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I know like the warning on like 22 says like 5 miles. And I know that like one
Oh.
time we may or may not have let a 40 millimeter Bofors get away from us. And I was like, how far does that go? And he's like, about 9 miles. And I was like, no,
No.
what's 9 miles from here?
The
Horse
orphanage.
farms."
No,
The orphanage.
He's like, well, they got a horse farm over there with thoroughbreds. They're about $250,000 a piece. And I'm like, we gotta go.
Get out of here! Pack this bitch up.
I looked up how far 50 cal went. I was super curious. And it was less than I thought. It was 5 miles. Some guys were saying like
Okay.
as
Wow,
much as 8.
shit gun. What a shit gun.
No, I can't think of a normal gun that would go farther.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it really depends on velocity. It's all about velocity.
What kind of gun can
And
you
weight,
fire safely
right?
into the
I
air
have-
in celebration?
No, because everything falls at the same rate, regardless of weight.
Ooh, I'm trying to process. You don't think
Yeah,
it'll slow down slower?
It will slow down slower. That
If it's
yeah,
heavy.
that's a good point. Yeah, I suppose it would hold more. It would maintain its speed longer. It would have
Perfect.
better inertia
Right,
if
right.
it weighed more. It's probably a good reason for why those naval guns can literally shoot like 20 fucking miles or whatever they do.
But it'll fall faster in certain situations, right? Because it's not happening in a vacuum.
It'll fall the same speed as everything else within that same air density, humidity, etc.
Oh, I guess you're
Altitude.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right about that. And it sounds wrong, and I've fought against that idea for forever, but it just keeps being true.
I'm pretty sure this goes back to Archimedes.
I know,
dropping, like,
well-
that feather and that lead weight off a tower, like
Yeah.
like literally a couple.
When everyone
thousand
was
years ago.
firing crossbows into the air in celebration of the summer solstice.
Yeah, you
can-
do summer solstice too.
Yes.
Too.
The year 1. Yeah.
Lord the Witch. 3, 2, 1.
Follow either. Oh, St. Paul is trending. Are there more riots? More riots in the Twin Cities? Yes, apparently.
Oh.
Yes. My goodness.
I
Who loots a vitamin store?
I always find the targets to like. Can we just agree the targets don't make sense? They're targeting whatever's convenient. They're not trying to make a statement by taking out AutoZone.
Oh, of course not.
No.
Of course not. Like that's the way
But
it is.
that's-
But like
I do see
who
this.
is like, and you just know the employee of the vitamin shop, SHOPPE, the day before this was like, no one's gonna come here. And now they're getting all their fucking B vitamins and fish oil stolen.
In Ferguson, I think it was Ferguson. They burnt down a wig and hairdresser shop, maybe that sort of specialized for black women.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Why would you take out that store? That's like, does your people? Does that sound racist? I don't know how to not to sound it, but that's your own community you're taking out. The owners were black women, and they took out the black wig. They took out the black wig hairdresser place. Like, why? And it's because they're not a thinking mob.
It's just-
they're
it's a
just
trend.
impulsive, wrecking stuff nearby, angry at the world mob. Not
Yeah.
really. It wasn't.
I mean, I
personal.
remember. I think I even told this on the show when the Ferguson thing was going down. Very good friend of mine, Carter. I know you listen to the show, Carter. Shout out. He was like, I'm working. He was texting me at the time. He's like, I work at Ferguson, and this whole thing is getting out of hand. He went to work the next day, and he was like, I came to work in my insurance agency, whatever the fuck it was, and I was expecting pretty much everybody to be there. I was the only one. I showed up to like a door that I had to call my boss and that I could unlock with the passcode or whatever. And you know what there is to eat in Ferguson near me? McDonald's. And you know what happened to that McDonald's? They burned it down. And so I have nothing to eat here. And that he literally quit that job right after Ferguson and moved to Chicago because he was like, this sucks.
Oh,
Well, at least you got away from those people.
Nonsense in Ferguson. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm out of here. I'm going to Atlanta.
I'm amused that St. Louis is like, really? Not here? Usually we usually get something. You're like, are we just gonna sit through this whole thing and not participate?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna. We're A+ Better Business Bureau rated for rioting. St. Louis will pop off at some point, and it'll probably be the East Side that does it first. We watched that clip of New Year's in East St. Louis where it was just firing high-powered rifles into the air with no concern. There's like cops driving by at some point, and even the cops know, like, this isn't our fight. Like, just keep on fucking rolling.
I remember we watched that, and I learned about shooting guns into the air. Like, so I was wrong. I thought shooting a gun up straight was okay, and shooting a gun almost straight up was almost as good. It turns out that you have to really shoot straight up. Otherwise, it lands hard and fast.
If you shoot straight up, it doesn't land hard and fast?
Right. It's kind of like just dropping it off your roof.
Because there's no difference between shooting a bullet straight up and dropping it from very high.
Oh.
Yeah. But
that makes a ton of sense.
So let's say 90 degrees is straight up. I thought 80 was pretty good. It is not. 80 is shooting someone who's far. That's what 80 is. It lands and zoom. And
these gentlemen were not being careful about the
yes, that's where I was headed. They're just randomly shooting towards the sky, and I promise you, they were actually shooting things far away, not dropping bullets.
I watched this. I was doing this is probably a couple weeks ago at this point, but Taylor Merca on Twitch, we were doing a just chatting, hanging out, watching stuff stream, and it was like deep. It was some guy named Guns and something else, and he like goes and experiments and not experiments, but he experiences other ways of life, like in Russia, rural areas. And he basically went into this shithole area that looked like a paintball course. And everybody in the chat's like, oh, this is the grossest thing ever. This is awful. And I was like, oh, it's not nearly as bad as East St. Louis. And so I pulled up a video of that and they're like, oh my God, this is in America. In our country. And it looks like this. Yeah, it's just awful. It's sad what's happened to so many cities that were booming 60, 70 years ago when you think about it.
Do they have
like Detroit, Paris of the West, they used to call it.
Really?
Truly.
No.
Literally look up Paris of the West and you will see it's Detroit.
When did they call it that?
I'm not going to do that. That's a trap, Taylor. I'm not Googling fucking shit.
When did they call it the Paris of the West? What year was that?
It was the year...
There's no way to know, Kyle. There's no way to know.
I'm willing to wait. I think it begins with the...
I like that Taylor's our fact checker now.
If I had to guess, it would be like 1946 or something when they were booming with the automobile stuff.
I'm going to go
anyway,
with covered wagons.
When they made a lot of horse glue.
How did I get start fact checking now?
I do.
Woody seamlessly passes that off.
The show needs it, but they're giving too much shit. So, thank you. Anyway, yeah. Does St. Louis have a lot of just like empty grass lots where there were vacant houses? Do they knock it down and?
East St. Louis does. St. Louis proper, not as much. But yeah, East St. Louis on the Illinois side, lots of lots like that haven't been mowed in, as Kyle would say, a coon's age. So very long grass. Yeah,
it apparently, if you have an empty house, that quickly becomes a drug den or a place where homeless people squat, or it's a real a magnet for unattractive behavior. But if you have an empty lot, then that's preferable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out this house in East St. Louis. You better snatch this up, Taylor.
Zillow, $12,000. Too bad.
Taylor, I'll go in halvesies with you.
Do you know what area this is?
The fact that it's a $12,000 home, Taylor, I can only imagine.
if you open up the link, you can see Martin Luther King Drive from the map. Not to mention you're right by fucking North 16th and Missouri Ave. Yeah,
Dude, this is an investment, Taylor.
Day one.
It comes with a satellite dish. I mean, pretty cool place.
You know what? That would be a pretty fun.
Already mounted.
Let's buy a house together and see for $6,000 a pop and see what we can turn it into.
Choose to handle the closing costs.
In Detroit, it's built in 1900. That has to be a mistake. In Detroit, they don't let you buy houses like this. Like a lot of people were just buying homes they had no intention of doing anything with, hoping that Detroit would turn around. And now you have to prove that you want to live there and turn it into a home.
Looking at these pictures, I can smell this house.
Absolutely rancid.
You know what this smells. It has a damp smell. You know it does.
It smells like black mold.
Look at the payment. Look at the estimated payment. $73 a month.
This house,
$8 price per square foot.
This house is a notable upgrade from where my father was raised. It was about this size, and like it hit me when Kyle said he can smell it. This is yeah, I can smell it. I can smell the front yard. I can smell the grass. Like I know the neighborhood. I bet I can hear the bar across the street. And but his house didn't have a yard like this. It was all of them touching each other. They're like row
Dude,
houses.
this one's much better for $12,000.
Little benefits of East St. Louis. They have some of the country's most renowned full nudity strip clubs.
Full nudity? Do they serve alcohol?
Oh, they do. They serve alcohol.
That
they
is
let you get wasted. Yeah.
That's the lowest standard. Like there's titty bars and they tend to serve alcohol. There's full nudity bars, but they don't have alcohol. St. Louis has combined the two.
St. Louis, well, because fucking weird, the two major cities in Missouri are in 3 states collectively, where it's St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois, and then Kansas City, Missouri, and then a little bit of Kansas City, Kansas. But you want pot now? Drive over the bridge, go to Illinois. You want drive-through liquor, guns, and ammunition? Drive on over to the Missouri side. We got you covered. And so a nice, this is what multiculturalism means to be, drive through, or no, it's not. It's drive through liquor, guns, and fireworks is what it is.
Missouri has
That's
all
a
these
good
things?
combination. Is it like a barn that you literally drive through the middle of the store, or is it like a drive-through window like a fast food restaurant?
Drive-through window. You like go on the side that looks like a barn, and then you say, I want, 2 boxes of 22, a handle of Popov vodka, and a bunch of M80s. And they're like, M80s are illegal, right? And it's like, give me the M80s. Here's your sparklers.
Yeah. In Kentucky, they have the drive-through liquor stores.
North Carolina has
drive
that.
right through the middle of that motherfucker.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
But they hand you the alcohol, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can get out, but you don't need to.
Woody, what are you doing? You got to start drinking with all those rules around you. Take advantage. Yeah, you're right, Kyle. This second one is much, much better, but it's still awful.
It's still awful. It's a $12,000 home.
How many months do you think you and I could pay $36.50 each before we're killed if we were to live here?
Are you seriously talking about financing this motherfucker?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we wouldn't need to do
that. I'm not getting a mortgage on a $12,000 house.
We finance a $12,000.
I wouldn't make like, and it's 6. It's 6.
Finance $12,000.
I have $6,000, not to brag.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I also have. I'm well over $6,000 liquid, so I can.
All right. Well, I mean, I need to move a few things around.
I mean, if I get an extension on my taxes, and yeah, man, this house is ugly as shit, dude. Looks awful.
Yeah, it is. Now, if there was a $12,000 house like that in Colorado, then you'd chip in.
You'd have to tear this up and just destroy it.
You would. Yeah.
Look at how much mold there is on these walls. Oh. It's visible.
La-di-da.
Yeah. I think that's moss.
It might be moss. Oh, look at the outside. Oh God, that looks all. Someone chopped a tree down and just left it.
Is it in St. Louis? They might have just fallen down on the fence and he hasn't gotten to it. And you're being kind of judgy.
A little deep cut there.
So I'm looking at like Colorado. I searched the entire state of Colorado and I made my maximum price $12,000. It's just plots of land, but several acres. You can get 5 acres in Blanco, Colorado, $4,000.
For 1,000 or 4,000?
4 big ones.
Oh, I'm out.
5 acres.
I can't handle 4 big ones.
I mean, we could all chip in here, have ourselves a piece of land out in the Sunshine State.
Florida?
No, Colorado. It's a Dumb and Dumber joke. It's
I'm like
Lloyd, Jim Carrey's character, is picking up Jamie Presley or whatever her name is, and he's like, "Where are you heading?" She's like, "Colorado." Or he's like, the Sunshine State," and she's just like, I love that movie. But yeah,
I don't know if we want to go here. I was looking up the violent crime rate again. East St. Louis is blowing Guatemala and Nicaragua out of the water here. You got to go to Caracas, Venezuela before you get anything even close. Property crime? Oh my God. We're going to lose our cars night 1.
I didn't even think of the cars. Yeah, definitely the cars. I was thinking of like the home. Like nobody's going to fuck with that place. I mean, clearly they already have. They're not coming back.
You can't steal property, Taylor. It goes all the way to the middle of the earth. You goof.
You can't steal property.
You can't steal property. It doesn't belong to anyone.
Okay, Reggie.
Yeah, that's what you think, bitch. We showed you. It does belong to us now.
Stupid Native Americans.
I like how you made the stupid comment politically correct. Oh, stupid sat Native Americans.
I'm a Native. I hate that. I hate that we call them Native Americans. I'm a Native American. You're a Native
we literally
American.
are Native Americans. We were born in America and we grew up here.
Yes.
That's how I got my first 5 jobs.
You and Elizabeth Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, your name's Taylor. We're not buying this. My name is Chief Getting Job.
Have you guys ever done something like benevolent or nice, like more than common courtesy, and just by happenstance you get like you get something out of it where like you look really good? Because most of the time when you do nice things, nobody notices, and you can't bring it up, or people will think you're a cunt, which is true.
Yes, only because you are.
It's true. That is. But I had the most perfect little thing happen. Like this past weekend, I was hanging out with some friends and a couple of girls at a bar, and it was getting late, and I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna head home. And so I was heading home, walking back to my place, and I passed this homeless guy. He was like, sir, I ain't asking you for money. I just want some food, man. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. And I was like, you know what? Let's get some food, man. And so I started walking with this homeless guy. We were chatting. And I took him to a corner place and just told him, get whatever you want. You want a couple sandwiches or chips or, a hot meal, whatever. And so I just let him pick it out. They started making it. I bought it for him. And as I was leaving with him, he had his shit, and he was being all thankful, thanking me, being super nice, kind of following me back towards where I was going. I was being very polite. We passed some of the girls that I was hanging out with earlier that night just by random chance. And it made me look like the best Samaritan ever, because here I am with food that I bought for this homeless guy after I was like, God, I'm getting tired. I got to go home and go to bed just 20 minutes before. And they're like, oh my God, did you buy that guy some food or something? I never do that.
Or can we tie this back to the previous conversation where they're not really thinking about you?
No, this happened. This actually happened.
The second part, though, they did notice. Okay.
They did notice because they were I was walking by with and it worked even better because I didn't notice them standing on the sidewalk. I got like 2 feet past them with Mr. Black, now hunger satiated homeless guy, and they
Rufus.
go, yeah, Rufus, DJ, was his name,
Oh.
and they're like, Taylor, are you? And then we had a little talk again, and there you go. I looked fucking great. Like, I'm gonna start doing nice things so much more on the off chance that it gets me laid. Like, it's
Just fake nice things to do, like have someone cosplay as a homeless man.
I'm
and
gonna
help him.
hire
Or
DJ.
My beard's
maybe you
coming
hire
in.
DJ. Here's what DJ can do for you. You hire DJ to come in and accost some woman, like get all crazy in her face, like give me $1, give me $1.
You're gonna die tonight, bitch.
and then you swoop in like, hey, get out of here, you leave her alone, or I'll kick your
Is
ass.
Marty McFly in this scenario?
Yeah, exactly. You and Rufus could have a real nice thing going on. Rufus gets all the hot sandwiches he wants, and you get all the hot pussy you want. He probably lives down there on the street under your window somewhere. You could just be like up in your window, like, Rufus, the blonde. And while he's accosting her, you're running down the stairs to go like save the day, dude.
Oh man, I could hire a whole mini cabal of the homeless, and because I don't
Is
want to use
Rufus
the same guy
intimidating
over and
looking?
over. His name's not fucking Rufus. It's
DJ.
DJ. It's
I don't
DJ.
know, Rufus.
And okay, well, Rufus is
Thank
like 6'3", and he, to be fair to Rufus, he was definitely a heavy enough guy that this probably wasn't the first sandwich he'd had that day.
Oh, this is perfect. A guy who even bigger than you, and you come in like, hey, you leave her alone. Get out of here, you. I'll kick your ass. And, dude, you and Rufus could have the greatest symbiotic relationship of all time. Like he just gets. I would make this happen. I'd be like, yo, Rufus, would you accost pretty white women for me? And I'll come in and run you off, and I'll give you $20 a day. How about
I'm
it?
doing it without you. May as well.
I've been accosting pretty white women for years now. Ain't never got a sandwich out of it.
You just go all over the top fucking racist with your sandwich and your shucking and jive, hand motions. Oh, that's funny.
You guys do some sort of like, it'd be some kind of weird handshake that like white people aren't good at. There'd be some wiggly fingers and some waves and like 2 slaps, like that thing. And then it'd be like pop, pop, and then there'd be a finger snap at the end.
Like, Rufus, we can't do this fucking 28-second handshake after every accosting. There are people are catching on. We're working together. Bada bing, boom,
I fucking love this idea. I bet if you ran this by Rufus, like, all right, Rufus, don't do anything illegal, but accost him a little bit, like angrily ask him for $1, and then I'm gonna swoop in, I'm gonna run you off, and meet me by the door later. I'll slip you.
There's gonna be a hot Qdoba burrito right behind that tree, 20 yards there. When I come over there, I go, get out of here, Rufus! Stop bothering this sexy lady with her big, pouty blowjob lips. And then you run over there and you grab your hot burrito and you go, until next time.
Yeah.
Okay, this is happening. I need to find Rufus.
I fucking love this idea. You get so much ass like this.
I call him Rufus, and then he's gonna beat my ass.
No, dude, you can call him fucking Mr. Bojangles. He's getting like a Qdoba burrito.
He's a very, very sweet homeless guy from our one encounter together.
Yeah, they're all sweet until you start giving them Qdoba. Then they'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You could be like, Rufus, just beat her to death if she doesn't, and the ones who don't like respond to your, if you come and save the day and they're like, thanks, and just walk away, you'd be like, get her, Rufus. like she wasn't convinced enough. Like, get Rufus to go over there and start whipping her ass a little bit, and then you come in. Then maybe she's a little more grateful. Like you escalate. You escalate things.
Maybe he injures her just a little, just that much, just enough to need to have to come back to my place for a little bit of very poorly administered medical care. Like I'll just put a little bit of Neosporin on whatever it is, and
there
then
you go.
Just start making your move.
I like it. Like,
hope you don't have any other infections. Yeah.
Like you maybe you buy him some steel toe boots with the implication that he kicks women in the knee with them.
Okay.
She's all limpy. You need to help her along.
I don't want to take him to the hospital though. How about just
not him? You're gonna take her
because
to your place, and then you nurse her back to health.
You take me to the hospital. My leg's broken. That homeless guy kicked me.
And you can be like, that she's dependent upon you, right?
right?
Ooh. I'm nurturing that dependence because she knows if she goes back outside, Rufus is there with half a burrito in his hand.
Step one, demonstrate value, right?
Yeah, if she tries to leave, you like look out the window, give Rufus the old wink, and then he starts like screaming and like yelling up at the window, and she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll stay here for a while." Yeah, I'll walk you home in a couple hours, but I gotta work on my my medical thesis. So let me get back in here. By the way, let me bandage that up for you. You know, you pretend like you're a medical student in this terrible scenario. That would be even better. See, that's how you get her back upstairs. Oh, I'm a medical student. I've got my bag upstairs. I could take a look at that knee for you that Rufus kicked with those. Those look like new steel toe boots to you? Yeah, he must have stolen them off somebody. Big violent guy. Yeah, I've seen him in the neighborhood. That's Rufus, the kneecapper. They call
Rufus the kneecap.
Yeah, he's crazy. They won't
Great
do
guy.
anything.
I mean, a horrible guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves Qdoba. Yeah,
Loves it. That's how I get my way through.
burrito bowls. That's it.
What other fun things could I do with the local homeless? Because there are aplenty.
Huh.
What else could be done?
I would like to start like a homeless like doo-wop group. Like get them all like doing that thing where they for the longest time, looking in her eye. Ooh, and then Rufus jumps in. Ooh, and when I find you, I will be right behind you. And then they all sing as a chorus. I haven't been there for the longest time. And then they're just down by the window. You could serenade ladies with your.
The longest for the longest time.
Yeah, Rufus would do that low note for you.
Okay. No. No, I'm not going to do that one. Who is honestly buying that big homeless man a brand new pair of steel-toed boots is going to be a better idea than trying to teach him to sing, because I don't know how to sing, and I can't imagine that that's going to scare any ladies into my arms. You know, unless it's like really late at night and she's walking down an alley alone and she just hears the whoa, and then it just looks around and it's four large homeless gentlemen. You know,
they're all snapping their fingers in chorus and like walking. Maybe if you got them to do what's the Michael Jackson Thriller? Da-da. Oh, that would be great because homeless people look so decrepit and stuff. If they were doing the Thriller, like while the music,
I can get some of the more like methy looking ones for that.
Oh, do you have methy looking ones?
Oh, I'm in Missouri. Yes.
Of course, the Missouri capital of the Midwest. I mean, the meth capital of the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I wish I had homeless to use here.
You can come by anytime and borrow mine. There's so many of these fuckers.
Yeah,
you gotta get them in line for me.
We've got them in Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
There's way more in the summer because a lot of them are fake homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate the fake homeless.
If you're gonna like, I like when I see someone and I'm like, you are homeless as fuck. Like I can tell you are legit homeless. Whereas like there's people on like, I don't know about where you guys live, but on pretty much every fucking exit off of the highway near the city, there's a bunch of people standing there with like signs and shit, like asking for handouts. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, you look to be like a white bitch, early 20s, and your sneakers are clean. Like, see, you're a liar. You're a liar.
I don't know if they're a liar, but sometimes I think, like, oh shit, I've got like bushes to trim. You know, if I hand you a it's called a trimmer, right? What is the gas powered thing that chops bush? A hedge trimmer. If I hand you a hedge trimmer, do you want $20? Because that might be a win for me. But I think they'd turn me down. I don't think they're looking for work. I think they're looking for money.
Yep. Most of them will turn you down if you offer food. Like they're looking for drugs.
Well, aren't we all?
Like I've probably, in my entire life, I've probably offered food to a homeless person like 5 times, or probably like 6 times, and they've accepted it like twice. And DJ was one of them. Usually it's like, you want some food? No. And then they keep walking because they're looking for, crack or meth or heroin money.
Long time ago, I was probably 20. Some guy, homeless guy, was like, hey, do you have $1? And I was going to give him $1. I checked my pocket and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. All I have is a 10. Right? Because I'm not going to give him 10. Like, and by the way, I don't have any money at this point. I'm like I don't know, swim coach or something and part-time. And all I have is a 10. He's like, well, then give me the 10. Give it like, yeah. He's like, what the fuck, man? And I don't know. I was like, was I supposed to beat him up for like accosting me? Like, what was the proper social response to him demanding more money? But I just kind of, I don't know, brushed him off.
Like, yeah, my answer is always, I don't carry cash.
Yeah.
Like I never reach for my wallet to let them know which pocket it's in or anything. I never do that at all. The worst, oh my God, there is a homeless dude around here who comes up and he's got so much energy. He's like 5'4". He's bouncing all over the place. He's what's that like John Mulaney joke with like the Batman doctor nurse? He's like, we are all blessed. It is no day to be stressed. Like that character in his stand up. He's like that. He's so like upbeat, like all about that. And so you can see this guy bouncing towards you, and he never will just come up and be like, "You got money?" He's always like, let me tell y'all a joke. Let me tell y'all a joke or two. And so suddenly he's now standing with like your group of friends while he tells like some meandering homeless joke that doesn't go anywhere. God, if I remember what the joke was later, I'll tell it. But it took like probably 2.5 minutes to tell, which is a long time to pretend to be interested in a homeless person's joke, because you can't like in the middle of the joke be like, so anyway, Aaron, you want to go over here after this? You have to be like intently watching everything that he says that's a little funny. Oh, look at you, buddy. Like you have to do that. And then as soon as it's over, everybody has laughed because you don't want to get stabbed with a sharpened toothbrush afterward. Yeah. And then because everyone's laughed, he's like, all right. Everybody you got any money? Like I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. He doesn't actually show a tattoo, he just pretends, and he does that. And it's like, you have to give that guy money. I think the smartest move for me is to just start carrying around a pack of cigarettes. That's probably the smartest move. I'll carry around a pack of cigarettes, and if somebody asks you, you got money, and you go, no, I got a cigarette though, all of them will go, oh, okay.
That's true. Okay. That's absolutely true. I remember
one pack of cigarettes in Missouri. We have the cheapest tobacco prices in the country. It's like $4 or $5. So like one of those that has 20 in there. And it just got shot down again. It was a big thing here where it was like, they're going to raise the tobacco tax. And, it was like, Missouri says no. And
I haven't been interested in cigarettes since I was like 10. And a pack is $1 to me. That's like,
wow. No, they're $5 a pack.
They're like $12, $13 or
depends what kind of cigarettes you want. Kitty cigarettes are like,
they're homeless. I can buy the cheapest things.
Like $8 a pack or something like that. It's fucking expensive. But yeah, I've often given. I remember like maybe we were in Chicago or Boston, I don't know which, but I went downstairs to smoke outside the hotel, and the homeless were everywhere. And I knew they were out there, so I had taken down one of those snack packs of like tuna salad. It's got all the ingredients for tuna salad plus crackers, and I had it in my coat. I was planning on giving it to any homeless people that are out there. And there's a homeless man. He's like, hey, you got a smoke? Can I get one of them? And I'm like, yeah. I give him a cigarette. I'm like, hey, are you hungry? He's like, yeah. I give him the snack pack or whatever. And like he and I sat out there for like 20 minutes, like smoking multiple cigarettes while he ate his tuna salad. It was a great time. That was like 7 years ago. I still remember old homeless Joe. Good guy.
Homeless Joe.
Old homeless Joe. Yeah, let me do a couple of ad reads.
He's probably dead.
Oh, he's almost certainly dead. He froze to death in the winter of 2011.
Reasonable price.
I bet Rufus, you give him he would like the gold one. You hook Rufus up with that gold one, little bling, and he'll be accosting blonde women for you all week just for the watch.
This is a good plan. This is a good plan. I'm going to offer trinkets to local homeless people who are going to inevitably find out where I live, and then I'll have kind of a clan that shows up randomly outside until eventually I become tired of giving them things, and then they will eventually break in. So yeah, this is a great idea.
Part of
Let's
this happened
definitely
to me.
do this.
We had a guy, and he came to our door. He said, "Look, I noticed in your front yard you have weeds. For $20, I will pull all these weeds." And I was like, you know what? This is like a great plan, because pulling weeds, not my favorite thing.
Sucks.
This was in Apex, yeah. And sure enough, he gets down there, yanks every weed out. Big pile of weeds in my grass now, but you know what? He wasn't charging professional landscaper prices, and but then he keeps coming back. He's like, this is the house that hired me. Like he's a regular here. And I'm like, no, man, not like it. I think when I first hired him, my wife and kids were visiting the in-laws. Well, now they're home. And now he's very upset that I have like fed a homeless dog, and it keeps coming back looking for more money until I was eventually like, man, my wife doesn't like you coming around here. Like, you gotta stop. And he did.
Did you like catch him like late at night, like sprinkling dandelion seeds like all over your garden? Yeah.
He pulls them all during the day, plants them back at night. It's foolproof.
$20 a day for old Rufus. That's all I need to get by. You know, the crack plant of meth and heroin addicts. Yeah.
I love the idea of paying Rufus to accost women for you. Like I honestly feel like it would be.
I will go to prison.
No, you won't. Rufus will.
Tanya
No,
Harding
he
never
won't,
went to prison.
Or actually, you're right, because they're going to go. They're going to say that some lady's going to be. He's going to accost her too hard and kill her because he's a homeless man, and you know he might. Yeah. And then he'll say, "That guy right over there told me to do it." And then I would say, "Pardon me," and then I would go home, and he would go to jail.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I see no problem.
Oh, and then I can pretend to have been friends with the girl who died. Yes.
Oh, and then you get in with her.
Girls around because then like
funeral.
Something will start, and they'll be like, "What happened to you?" It's like, "Oh, this girl died. A good friend of mine. Oh, Susanna or whatever." And then you'll get
go to the
people
funeral
around you. Oh,
and her friends are like, friends are all like, "Are you the guy that she was talking about that she just had met that she really? Yeah, that's me. You're the medical student. Yeah, that's me. God, I'm all broken up about this." And you fuck all of her friends with that funeral sex. And then maybe old Rufus has some buddies that you can get to accost these ladies. So now they're going to be super terrified of Rufus's friends when they come around. And then once again, you swoop in. And now it's not just that you saved them from an accosting, you saved their lives.
That's true.
Dude, this is
mixed
foolproof.
Up Rufus and the gang. Like one might be enough. I don't know who. What if he comes like deep, like just like a whole clan of Rufuses, and they all want their own burrito with double meat. Like, all right, no guac, you fucking freeloaders.
I like this a lot. Maybe you just give them chips at first. You know,
you just get chips and no
chips queso.
You get cold salsa until you've proven yourself.
Yeah, right. You know, they got the all-you-can-eat salsa. You just get like 8 cups of that. Everybody gets a little salsa, and I wanted verde. Shut the fuck up. You get what you get.
Actually, I could make an initiation thing so that, you know, Rufus, I bring him in as my first mate. No, first mate, that's pretty gay. What's a better thing? A lieutenant?
Number 1.
My number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
Buddy, you tell him who's boss in there. Don't take any guff.
Tell him he's my number 1. And then other homeless people who want to join our clan, he beats the shit out of them. And then that shows that they're like down with the Taylor gang.
You jump them in.
Yeah, the Taylor gang. That's what it'll be. I hope I don't get sued by Lil Wayne. I think that's his thing.
It is.
But he's so out of it on cough medicine, he doesn't fucking know. He'd hear it and be like, "That's a pretty good name."
Yeah, I like that name. You jumping the bitches in for me, Big T.
Yeah, he'd be okay with it.
He'd be okay with it. And then I can slowly aggregate a group of homeless, but I can't think of anything useful that I could use them for other than scaring people and coercing people into fucking me.
I'd love to see them. Well, I mean, what more do you want? First of all, I mean, if it gets there's nothing you won't do to get laid except for rape. And, you know, that's the line that's been drawn for us by society.
Unless she's consenting in 14.
It's been drawn for us by society. But like maybe I'll tell you what, I would love to interview homeless people on this show. Like if you invited Rufus up and we spoke to him about how he got to where he is. They all have interesting stories because, you know, they've sort of, it's never like, well, you know, I never got an education and my dad was shitty. And so this is just where I am. And I like drugs a lot. Like, you know, you never get that out of him. He's going to have a whole sob story about like how his life took this downward slope. And maybe it's true. You know, it's different strokes for different folks. Some of them actually had like terrible things happen to them in their lives. So I'd love for you to, you know, get Rufus on the show. Of course, that's.
I know you'd love for it because he's not going to reach through the TV and pull out your jugular, you know, while you're doing an Alex Jones impression because it gives him a flashback to the war or something. Like who knows? That's like a lot of these guys have got to be like Vietnam vets, especially like what age is that? Like 55?
No,
65?
like 65.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Most of them are probably, if they're homeless, they're in like LA or they're dead.
Yeah. The non-vets are dying out really quick, especially the homeless non-vets. Like if they've survived,
right?
yeah, 65 at least.
If you were
Yeah,
18, it ended in 73. So
they.
I really need a calculator here. So 73.
You've been born like 54-ish. If you got like a year of it.
18, yeah, 55. 1955. So it's 2000.
To get a year of combat, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so 62 at the youngest. I thought it was going to be higher.
Oh. Well, okay, Kyle. I'll put out some feelers for the local gents and see if they're interested in coming on the show.
I didn't even know that was a real thing. I thought whenever I was seeing that, it was some Photoshop or something. You're telling me there's actual office buildings where fools are sliding out of the 17th floor and like going down to the 14th and getting some lunch and then taking the elevator back up?
Look up the City Museum in St. Louis. It is this giant rundown building in downtown, not in a good area at all. And we used to go there on a field trip as kids. And it's basically got huge, almost like makeshift looking metal devices and tunnels and slides coming out of this giant decrepit building and going back in. And as you are climbing on these things, like when I was like 8 or 7,
Wow.
I didn't really care. But looking back, I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, there's no way this stuff was up to code. Like, these were just weird contraptions and tunnels coming out of the building, then going to the top and then coming back around. Like, you will not believe it. If you wanted to fall through these holes in like the grate of these tunnels they made, it's basically like rebar formed around into like a tunnel, but there's enough room between the bars that you could, if you wanted to, as a child, just push yourself through and fall to your death.
Before you got into it, I was picturing like glass tubes, swirling around.
No.
Not at all. No. This is like the Dominican Republic's version of a cool thing. Like
yeah, look up. I'm sure that deaths have happened. Let me look.
They made that shit with scrap metal and the charred remains of people's lives.
This is like the Rio Olympics version of something good. Like it's.
I wonder what's going on in Rio right now. Like okay, so the Olympics are gone. All that shit's there. What's happening right now? Like in those giant like swimming facilities, those huge acrobatics facilities. All that
those
stuff.
pools smell like farts right now.
They drained those chemicals right into the river or whatever. Those things are dry. They're just pits waiting for someone to fall into them at this point. Do you have the link for the preschool fight club?
Right here.
Thank you. So apparently a preschool has been running, a fight club where, as you might imagine, teachers look on and cheer while toddlers fight it out wearing Hulk smash gloves. And you might think, what kind of damage could they do? This little monster has this other kid in fucking side control just to move away from a crucifix, and he's grounded pounding this motherfucker with some Hulk gloves while the teacher literally dances. Yeah, let's watch this.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Skype is a weird thing where sometimes you click on the link and it pretends you clicked on a different one. Fucking pop-ups. I'm almost there, boys.
No worries.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, I'm ready. Ready, set, play.
Here at Adventure Learning Center on Gravois organized a one-day fight club in 2016 when the heater broke and they were trying to entertain the kids. Regulators did not shut down the place, but they increased inspections and found other types of violations.
Oh my God!
A 10-year-old took this fight club video with his iPad. He's with older kids in the next
teacher's
room.
Dancing.
That's his little brother crying after 3 fights. One teacher's excited, jumping up and down, while the other teacher puts Hulk fists on preschoolers. Mother Nicole Msrder cannot watch without crying.
He doesn't understand why his
so
friends were
inappropriate.
fighting him, why he got beat up by his best friends, and it was on his 4th birthday.
The fight begins. The kids fall. A teacher kicks in the air in excitement. The only person who tries breaking it up is another preschooler. But he cannot stop one child from pounding the other's head into the floor.
That is rough.
They're fighting.
Msrder believes it only stopped because her older son texted her video. She called the director to stop it.
He said that the daycare workers were making them fight, not helping them.
Daycare cameras recorded at least 30 minutes, fight after fight. Video, Msrder says, can be monitored by staff. Though it happened nearly 2 years ago, Msrder does not think enough was done.
I want them to be held accountable, and I don't want this to happen to any other child.
The police report says the director immediately
Taylor, you'd
fired
have ran
both
this shit
teachers
at 4
and
years
called
old.
the child abuse hotline. The St.
I'd
Louis
have been the
Circuit
ringer.
Attorney's Office declined to prosecute. I reached out to both teachers.
Taylor,
Though
El
state regulators
Diablo.
substantiated the complaint, the Venture Learning Center continued operating
You come in
normally,
from a
but with
fog
increased
machine,
inspections,
fucking
8
5 feet
visits since
tall,
document
140
26
pounds.
wide-ranging violations, though none
5
exactly
o'clock
like
shadow,
the Fight Club
even though it's
incident.
only noon and we
March
just had snacks.
2018, a 4-year-old
I
child
brought
said a
5
teacher
bags of beef
cussed at
jerky.
him,
They had
flicked
6
him,
grilled
grabbed
fish
him, and
and
pushed
beef.
him to the ground. Also this year, a quote
Taylor,
agency staff
it's
member observed
nap
a caregiver
time,
grab a child
Merca.
approximately 3 feet by the arm and drag carrying the child. He asked if the director was standing in his classroom and did not respond.
You're
Msrder
playing
wonders
with
about
my
training,
blocks.
how a teacher noticed her son crying that December day in 2000.
I'm gonna send you back to the cubby.
Ooh,
yeah.
When you come into this four-cornered Lincoln log ring, you know what you're getting. I'm bringing the pain.
And the winner of the Juice Box Invitational.
Dude, I look, I watched it and maybe I reacted like I was horrified. Did you think that maybe it wasn't quite as bad as they made it out to be? That was a big Hulk glove.
No, it's pretty terrible to make children fight that aggressively in daycare when they're clearly confused and their like only perspective towards an authority figure at the time is that figure jumping up and down, clapping and cheering them
kid
on.
was crying.
Taylor, have you
too.
considered? Yeah, okay. Half of the kids didn't enjoy it, but the winners really had a good time.
You know what? I hadn't considered that.
Think about the
That's a good-
self-esteem boost that guy who was crucifix pounding the other one got. That
all
kid,
this
future CEO.
all this anti-St. Louis media stuff. They don't talk about all the many daycares here where they're not fight clubs.
Uh-huh. They
Where
never
they're
look
just
at the
children.
winners and think about what a great time they had. And you know who else had a great time? Teachers.
They
Clearly.
did. Man, those teachers, I don't think
Dancing for
they were
joy.
very good at their job.
This is better than
Taylor.
a dog fight.
How could you say something both so bold and courageous?
I know. I'm a brave guy. It's a lot of hot takes, but yeah, that's really
Oh, it is
reprehensible.
Dude, I
Like,
would
that's
feel so
fucked up.
terrible if my kid was involved in that.
Oh yeah, you'd be livid at that teacher. Like,
Yeah.
you'd want to go after more than just their job. You'd be like, no, you can't. This is like illegal. Like Cliff Hutchinson would tell you, this is not only against the rules but the law as well. You can't force children to fight, even if you put a Hulk glove on there. It is funny though.
It's pretty funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I would have done well.
Those are our best topics: illegal and funny.
Dude,
Get both of those combined.
The uptown. I haven't been to a strip club in so many years. There is just something. I guess another thing is if you want to go to like a real full nudity, like crazy tier strip club in the area, like the St. Louis area, you have to go to East St. Louis because that's where they have all that bananas nonsense, and it is a dangerous shithole of an area. Like the name of the strip club is Pops Strip Club in East St. Louis, and people get murdered in the parking lot regularly.
Well,
and so
I
remember you've heard of Pops? Yeah, Pops.
I
Was
think
on,
it's big in NBA circles or something.
Pops is insane. Like I've been to Pops a few times, and it's every time I go there, I'm always like, this is so dangerous. Like there's people, like there's crimes happening actively outside of Pops. They have almost a semicircle of police officers at all times, pretty much, like late at night. And so there's like 6 police officers in a semicircle. And if you go out there and there's people smoking cigarettes or whatnot, and like something starts like even approaching a fight, like cops will get involved and people get shot there all the time. And so I remember this is years ago now when my friends wanted to go to those more, and they'd be like, let's go to Pops. Let's go to Pops. And it's like, dude, your risk reward profile is so fucked. If you're so stupid, you want to go to the most dangerous area in the country. in the
kinda make me
country.
wanna go.
I've been there many times. It's the most dangerous area.
I just
It's
hate
a
strip clubs
terrible
in
area
general.
in the
It looks
country, and they
dope.
want to
There's a
go there.
motorcycle right on the front. What's wrong with you, Taylor?
I mean, there's a
Fucking
picture
go.
of
Go
one.
to come to East St. Louis on a late Saturday night and go to Pops and tell me what you think.
I will. It says Philly on the right, and there's a motorcycle. This is my place.
Are you gonna
The
wear your
Philly-
motorcycle
Oh, is
jacket?
there a little food truck in front?
Yeah, I'm gonna show up on the Gold Wing.
I'm one of the dirty bastards. I've just ridden in from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm here to fuck.
And they're gonna go.
But is it that hard to avoid trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, come on. I feel like
if you want to go there and you want to have a good time, chances are you'll go there and you'll have a fun time and you'll leave and everything will be fine. But as far as risks go, it's literally the most dangerous area. Like, you have to go to the capital of Honduras to find a more dangerous area on this continent. Like,
that's silly. Come on.
It's dog shit. It's a shit quality. It's an embarrassment for the entire region. It's an embarrassment.
That one business is?
No, the region, East St. Louis.
Oh, the region of East St. Louis.
The region
I don't
of
think
East
it's
St.
ever
Louis
been-
is an
I mean,
embarrassment.
was it ever like the pride of the state of or anything? It's not like it was the rose.
No,
of
and it's
Missouri.
not our state. That's Illinois. That's fucking Illinois. That's not Missouri.
Last time I went to a strip club, it's been I think it was that crazy place up by, you could swim across the Canadian border, wherever the fuck we were, like north of Cincinnati. I don't know where we were.
Like one of the Great
frankly.
Lakes.
I remember that there were 2 levels, and the strippers there was an upstairs strip club and a downstairs strip club, and the poles connected. So they'd be stripping upstairs, and then out of nowhere, they'd come down to your level, like spinning down the pole. And this bitch's giant fucking shoe flew off and hit her goddamn table and spilled like so much money worth of drinks. But you can't complain about that too much because you didn't want to get thrown out because we'd already had a few infractions in the group. You know, because everyone's very drunk, and I was, and like, by the way, this is one of those trips where nobody had any fucking money but Kyle. Like, I would be like, Jeremy, I need you. We're getting in the truck in the morning. We're going to Texas. What part? It doesn't matter. You won't be back for at least 1 week, maybe 2. And go, I ain't got no money. I'm like, it doesn't matter, Jeremy. 8 a.m. And that's how we go. So I would have to fund his whole goddamn trip. So when we got to that strip club, I felt bad having him sit there like just pockets like pulled out, like sitting over there like doofus, because he pouts. He's like, you remember when me, you, and Joe Lozon were riding around to that pizza restaurant, and like maybe afterwards on those little cobblestone back streets of Joliet or south of Chicago, and Joe's like a jock. And he'll riff and pick on people, and you got to kind of like have fun with that and not take any offense by it. And I think we all at some point started giving Jeremy a hard time because, you know, he's an easy target or whatever happened. But we started giving him a rough time about something, and he started pouting. He pouted up.
He pouted hard.
What superhero would you want for your city, for example, Taylor, in Missouri, where things are terrible and scary, and it's essentially, you know, society's falling apart.
St.
People
Louis,
hiding their
Missouri's
homes
great.
at night. I'm not
St.
done
Louis
tearing
sucks.
down your homeland. It's just a hellscape of sin, debauchery, and a lack of basic human principles.
I have my answer
being implied. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Hammerman.
Hammerman.
Yeah.
So
but
he takes
it's no. It's in the same vein as Batman because he's like, now they will know what I fear. And so, like, he doesn't use hammers, but he is emblazoned with a hammer to show that Aqua doesn't know this. St. Louis City has a slew of they have a hammer murder problem. People are killed with a spat of claw hammer related issues. And so, if we had sort of a Batman thing with the hammerist,
which they claim are unrelated, and we come right back around to the possibility there are supervillains out there, and yet hammer murder after hammer murderer. Clearly, MC Hammer is at Ham Murderer is out there killing people, and the police don't want to talk about him. There was a movie where Shaq, I think, played a superhero called Steel, and I think his weapon of choice was a big sledgehammer.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's a cool weapon for a superhero.
I think he went the actual Batman for St. Louis, and the reason why twofold. One, he really focuses on the neighborhood level crime. right? So you don't want Iron Man or Superman because they're not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, for example. But the reason I'm picking Batman over Spider-Man is the other thing that Bruce Wayne can do, which is money. People think of Bruce Wayne as the Batman that goes and catches bad guys. They forget he's also the super wealthy guy that like solves homelessness and invests in the community, improves the schools. Spider-Man can't do that. So Batman's the one you want. He's got cash and crime fighting prowess.
He almost never does that though.
He's too cocky.
He's usually using it as a flex for pussy and stuff, right? Like they'll be like, "Sir, your whores can't be naked in our fountain." And he's like, I just bought this building.
That does rock. Like
He
that's
did
pretty
that.
cool.
That's the Nolan Batman. He literally does that in the first.
That's the best
movie.
Batman. So
he has 2 whores with him.
No,
And I think his
Batman.
car
Batman
only has
would go
one
into
seat.
Batman would go into East St. Louis in his Batmobile, all confident, and he'd get robbed. He'd get killed.
Bulletproof.
The Wayne Foundation is
They call him a racist. Is what would actually happen.
constantly invest in the neighborhood. Batman's Industries are the major employer in the neighborhood. You need Batman in St. Louis. You need Bruce Wayne and Batman.
One in the
Oh yeah,
same.
Bruce.
Taylor, where are you based out of?
St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay.
Yeah.
What's in St. Louis other than not the Rams?
Oh,
crime.
Crime.
An enormous
Poverty.
amount of crime. But that's the actual city. I don't live in the city.
And have that arch.
They have the arch. Yeah.
That's where you know where. That's how you know where the crime is. It's directly over it.
Everybody,
true?
there was like well, no,
It's called the beacon of crime.
It is. I mean, it's in the middle of where a lot of crime is. Where downtown and then
Googled one
East St.
time.
Louis across the river. Yeah.
Like apparently there was like a couple of hammer murderers near Taylor, like people
Yeah.
being murdered with hammers, like separate incidents. And I was just like, how is that possible? And I like if you Google like these terms, St. Louis hammer murder, you get so many hits. It's absurd. It's like it's like a pastime there.
I lived there in the city, and I was not near this area of the city, but it was like, the story that came up, it was like homeless man breaks into abandoned building, murders 5 other homeless men with a hammer, no motive. And it's like, so yeah, hammer attacks, that's what's here.
Stop. Hammer time.
Yeah. That was the last thing 5 gentlemen heard.
He had the parachute pants on when he did it. It was he did the dance. It was very entertaining and terrifying at the same time. It's but yeah, St. Louis seems to be. Why don't you leave? Would you leave if? How about this? Like our friend Filthy. He works online. So when his girlfriend moved to another state for her career, he was just like, oh yeah, I'm picking up, I'm moving with my lady. She's got a job opportunity. If you were in the same scenario, Taylor, if your ex-fiance were to say, hey Taylor, I've got this big job down in Atlanta, or just name a state. Would you pick up and move for her, do you think?
It depends on the timeline. Like the way it worked
right now.
Right now, no, probably not. Just because it's like my grandparents live in southern Missouri, and so and my brothers live in Kansas City, and so like my house works as kind of a my grandparents don't like traveling out of their little neck of the woods down there, and so it works as like a nice little intermediary thing. When my grandparents die, it was I would have nothing else keeping me here, really, because my dad lives in Florida.
Family's important
for the most part now. My brothers are in Kansas City or Chicago. My mom's dead. Like, there's nobody else here. And so, like, I could totally see myself leaving. I would want to go somewhere with incredible weather. I've said before, Florida would be near the top of my list. I want that year-round warmth. That would be dope. And so maybe Florida, something like that.
You move to Florida, I'll move to Florida.
Warm and no state income tax. Those are the 2 important things, I think.
Yeah.
Texas fits that bill.
Florida,
Texas, Nevada,
Tennessee.
Those are all.
I'd want to go somewhere where
Nashville,
there was still a hockey team, and so Tampa would make sense in that
Vegas,
area, because Vegas would be cool.
Should we talk about Merca's hometown? How things going? You got a little hometown pride cooking right there.
Yeah. St. Louis is a pretty great town. There's a little bit of a snafu in Ferguson. Still going. Like I thought all that was over a few days ago because I didn't see anything about it, and then I just went onto Reddit and saw another video. Some guy like they're lying to you, and like watching trucks going by like boom boom with like shooting their grenades and everything, and I don't know, it's for the best. Builds character.
That thing in Ferguson has been really entertaining to watch, and I'm glad that it's going on because it's showing the country. First of all, everyone involved is an asshole. Like the people who are looting are assholes. The cops are assholes. The only real non-assholes involved are like the peaceful protesters who are like, "Hey, don't shoot us. We don't like what you're doing."
Because you said this. I'm sorry. Was that rude? It wasn't meant to be.
No.
I was talking to you about. I think it was a private conversation at the start of this thing, and I'm like, I don't know what side to pick. I was having a real hard time with it because you guys have heard us talk about this like sort of anti-militarization of the police rants before, but I'm also not a big fan of guys who strong arm rob, guys who loot stores, and what is generally like a riot that doesn't affect real change. It seems like there are people who are just taking advantage of the commotion to wreck stuff. And
totally,
Kyle was like, it seems like everybody's an asshole in this situation, and I'm like, right. That's it. It like there's no white knight. There's no shining star of virtue going on here. You've got police who are practically excited to use all their military toys, right? And do they have something called is it a ballistic baton? Have you guys seen this?
What?
Let me show.
What is this?
All right, so here's a link. I was actually doing a reading about this today. And you'll have to scroll down a bunch, but they got a Marine to like detail all the weapons that are being used. And here, so it's on the screen now. It's called a wooden bullet projectile. They're less lethal wooden baton rounds.
God, they're
go on.
They're less lethal. They bounce them off the ground a lot of times. Like they'll shoot them in front of your feet. They bounce off the asphalt, hit you in the shin. Sometimes they bounce too high, hit you in the head though, and you die.
So they're shot out of something similar to a grenade launcher, and it propels those. Until they called them a baton round, I hadn't really thought of it. I think I have a picture on my screen of what they shoot them out of, and it's like a shotgun almost with a really big barrel, and it launches that. Little giant wooden pellet baton.
I got one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it with arm's reach, or like
not within arm's reach? I've got some stuff within arm's reach, but I could get it. It's it's a 37 millimeter underbarreled launcher. It's 37, so you don't need to register anything like you would a 40. If you got the 40 millimeter, which is like 40 mic, the explosive shit, you'd have to register it as a destructive device, but. You can buy those 37 millimeter launchers for like $100, $200, and then you can get the rounds for them. And you can even get blank rounds that you can load however you might like. So if you want, you can get them so that they shoot like a bunch of 22s at once. You can get them so they shoot those wooden baton rounds, flares, tear gas, whatever.
Yep, and that actually you're exactly right. That confirms what this Marine guy was saying. It's a 37 millimeter thing. They shoot tear gas out of it. They shoot this article is calling wooden pellets. They're called like projectile batons elsewhere on this page. Of course, they're shooting the tear gas, red pepper balls. I don't. It's hard to see what the pepper balls do.
Yeah, how does that work?
Picture.
What's the point?
Well, they hit you and they spray pepper gas everywhere and they blind you. I don't know the consistency of them, but I don't think it's a liquid on the inside. I think it's a like powdered pepper. I've got a 12 gauge round that when you shoot it, it shoots a big fog of like pepper. It's like a riot control device. I've got everything that they're listing there that they're using against those people, except for those wooden rounds. That's all I don't have. I've got all that other stuff.
Can you get the beanbag rounds at your local gun shop?
I don't. I think you can. I don't. I've got them, but I ordered them from. Who's sponsoring me this? Let's get the plug right. American Specialty Ammo.com.
AmericanSpecialtyAmmo.com for all your Ferguson policeman wannabe needs.
Oh yeah,
I didn't hear you. Was it American Specialty?
AmericanSpecialtyAmmo.com.
Okay.
You go on there, you can get some. You will be just as well armed, if not better, than the Ferguson Police Departments. You can also get, I think on that website, I hope I'm not wrong, you can get a golf ball launcher for your AR-15.
They need to sell armored personnel characters too, to really match the Ferguson Police. They've got those like wannabe urban tank things.
Yeah, APCs are fun. I don't understand why so many police departments have them though. Because
know.
they're
Why?
for
What's up
moving
with them?
armored. Well, they're for moving armored. They're for moving troops into like dangerous areas where you're going to be receiving fire. It's an armored vehicle for like you just don't need it. It's absurd. They're not under fire on their way to like Main Street.
Let me read a paragraph about what these guys have. Hang in there. It'll take 30 seconds. There's a growing chorus of military veterans who've chimed in on the absurdity of photographs like this one, and they're showing these guys here. It's the top picture. Let me join the parade. What we're seeing here is a gaggle of cops wearing more elite killing gear than your average squad leader leading a foot patrol through the most hostile sands or hills of Afghanistan. They're equipped with Kevlar helmets, assault-friendly gas masks, combat gloves and knee pads, woodland marine pattern utility trousers, tactical body armor vests, 120 to 180 rounds of ammunition for each shooter, semi-automatic pistols attached to their thighs, disposable handcuff restraints hanging from their vest, close quarter battle receivers, and M4 carbine rifles with advanced combat optical gun sights. In other words, they're itching for a fight. And that's how I see this, man. These guys dressed in their, like, they're there to, like, win Iraq. This isn't keep the peace. And just like Iraq, it kind of reminds me that like, it's having the opposite effect. Every time they kill someone, the crowd isn't going, ooh, it's time to settle down. You know, let's not have any more killing. It goes nuts in the other direction. But then, you know, people really are looting and rioting. And I watch these videos and it's video proof, right? It's not like a picture, which is easier to manipulate and stuff. And you can hear rioters firing gunshots at the police. So, like, fuck, people. I don't know what the right answer is. They're all assholes.
They're all assholes.
Yeah, there's no winning combo here. It's just going to continue to get worse. You know, just hope it doesn't reach the better parts of town and stays in Ferguson.
Oh
God. But, oh well.
So how far are you from how far did you grow up from this place?
Ferguson is north of St. Louis, and north and east is the parts of St. Louis that you want to avoid. It's just kind of shitty, not, you know, just poor and a lot of crime. I was about probably 25 minutes from Ferguson.
Nice.
So it's like I had to get to the city and then go up.
I think if I lived near it, I would go. I'd like to see that.
It's it's not somewhere you want to drive through. It's just, well, clearly now.
Well, I mean, it seems like, I guess that would be getting myself into trouble. I think I'd definitely take a gas mask though, right?
You could aptly use that tank to go through a drive-through in Ferguson.
I would fit right in.
Just
Like
trying to be
I'd be on my APC going through McDonald's, and I'd look, and there's Ferguson's finest, like over at Taco Bell. They're all like geared up, night vision and shit. Hey, bro, yeah.
Your miniguns mounted on top. You just give each other like a professional courtesy wave.
Yeah, when I was doing that, when I was riding on the APC heading to McDonald's, a cop drove by me and he actually did salute. Like I was just like, they totally thought, because I was wearing a green FPS Russia shirt, I guess it looked a little bit like camos. Totally saluted. I was just like, if he only knew, because I'm sitting up there with a 50 caliber Modus machine gun and just on that APC going through a town, and no, we didn't talk to anybody about that. We never really did. Just kind of did it.
Wait, so there was a functional, fully, like a 50 caliber gun on top of that? It was totally functional, and you're just driving around?
Yeah.
What state? Which state?
Ohio.
Ohio. I do not know anything about their gun laws.
Yeah, cultural hub of the Midwest. They say.
Yeah, if you were in North Carolina, I'd be like, well, that's totally fine. It's not concealed. You don't even need a license for that.
There you go. I'm open driving it.
Yeah.
Just imagine don't think of it as a gun mount. Think of it as a gun rack.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. But loaded and pointed at stuff.
It wasn't loaded.
So this one says, hey guys, it's been a while since your last fan meetup. Are you guys planning on doing another one? And if so, well, where will it be? Transformed. I feel like we should do a thing again. Like, even if the fan meetup was real informal, like, hey guys, we're going to go fuck about in Tijuana
anyone who's there, meet me at this bar. Okay, Tijuana might be a bad choice, but whatever. It could be in Boise. It could be in. Let's just go do a thing. Detroit. Let's do a thing. Let's go urban exploring in Detroit, like to those abandoned buildings.
Actually,
and
you
stuff.
guys could you don't have to. We can go urban exploring in St. Louis. Like, it's just as exciting here. Come meet up. Like,
do you have like abandoned buildings?
Oh yes, yeah. It looks a lot of places in downtown St. Louis. Like you'll be driving, and there's this place called Crown Candy, and it's this super fucking old candy place where they make custom candies and milkshakes and malts, and it's deep in the bad part of St. Louis, but it's been there for so long that it didn't used to be bad. And I went there as a kid for like a church group, and I went there, and all I remember was going in, sitting on the old booths, and like they give you like they have like a 30-ounce malt, and if you could drink it in 10 minutes and not die, you like get it for free or something crazy like that. And I just remembered how much fun it was. Like, this is great. And so when I brought Melissa to St. Louis for the first time, I was like, oh, I got to take you to Crown Candy, like, because she's huge. She loves candy. So I'm like, she's going to love this. And so I'm driving downtown. I'm still in the good area, looking at my GPS, like, to make sure I remember exactly how to get there. And I'm like, all right, like, we're on the way. We get about 5 minutes away, and I'm like, oh man, I'm still 5 minutes away, huh? Starting to look a little sketchy. Okay. And so get about a minute away. I'm like, this can't be right. This can't be right. Pull over on the curb, start looking it up, very, very closely. You learn this skill working on your phone in the city like that. You're just quickly, trying to make sure, like, is anybody come up in the car? Anybody? Like, and eventually we pulled up, found this place, and I shit you not, it is the only building there. It looks like there was a bombing and that God decided to save Crown Candy and everything else is destroyed. Like, it looks almost like a paintball course in some sort of surrealistic campaign mode. Like, it's horrible. And so we go there, eat our candy, and I couldn't even fucking enjoy it. Like, we had to like quick walk all the way back to my car, get in, and just get the fuck out of there because it's so uncomfortable. So yeah, we could go urban exploring in East St. Louis. It's going to be real risky unless we have a black friend. So
I have a black friend. I'll bring him with me.
I was going to say, I've got black friends who might know yours.
Yeah. My concealed carry permit has reciprocity in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Who made your black friend? Who were his parents?
What is this?
Smith and Wesson.
This is a Rossi 350. This is that Rossi 357 Magnum. Snub nose. I like a lot.
I think I talked about this on the show years ago. This is probably 5 years ago at this point. I was at late night, like a restaurant with someone, and we're at the bar, and behind us there's a big glass pane to see out to the street. This is when I lived in the city of St. Louis, and I had never seen like a full-on fight in the street before between people. And this black guy and this enormous, big, fat white woman. I say enormous like she's 6'4". No, she was just like probably like 5'7" and wide, but he was like 5'8" and built. And they got in a honest to God fist fight right outside of this restaurant, to the point that like there was a big table of black women sitting next to me. And as it started to go down, they're all like, "Oh, it's going down. It's going down." And they all run outside too to be part of the menagerie watching it. And of course, they were not just fighting on the sidewalk. There were a bunch of parallel parked cars, and they got in between like one sedan and one like van. And this girl was like trying to throw like those like girl punches at him with a surprising amount of mass behind it, and she like caught him with one. And I think that humiliated him a lot in front of like this watching audience. And he hit her so goddamn hard a couple times, but he could not knock her out. He couldn't knock her out.
Couldn't put her to sleep.
He punched her twice, and her head like hit the front bumper of like a Civic that was there like twice, and she was down, and she kept getting up. They're both wasted and being like, "Is that all you got, you bitch? Is that all you got?" And then like he came over. Apparently a van that he was affiliated with pulled up and stopped and opened their sliding door, and a couple of other guys got out, and he punched that lady like twice more, still couldn't knock her out. And like she was getting back up and like going at him, trying to smack him, and he clearly embarrassing. You can't knock her out. And then the van starts driving away when it gets a little more real. And this dude like knocks her down one more time, turns around, sprints, and gets into the moving van. We called the police 25 minutes earlier. They just didn't show up because there's enough crime in St. Louis. They were dealing with more
They weren't
serious
worried
shit.
about
So yeah,
that.
they just didn't show up. This white girl got her ass beat and then just popped in a car. And she took a beating like an absolute champion. She could take a kick
She had
from
a
like
steel
Ronda
chin.
Rousey or whoever.
Good quality.
Yeah. Ronda
Maybe a
Rousey, probably not a
durable
good
woman.
quality kick.
Not a great kicker.
Not a great
Nah,
kicker.
it's
Not known
her
for
thing.
it.
That's true, but it's also, I think those warnings are good. If there's a spree of murderers and dangerous felons in an area, I hope the police say, yeah, avoid this area because you're likely to be victimized if you go there. Like, you're
Yeah.
likely to be robbed.
If the police say, like, walk in groups, nobody's offended. But if the police say, like, look, typically these women getting raped fit this profile, don't fit this profile, they're, oh my God, how dare you suggest I'm not allowed to fit that profile? It's like, I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah, they walking in, that's a good thing to do. You don't want to get robbed. Go walk around East St. Louis by yourself. See how it turns out. See if people are walking up to you offering you popsicles and fun
Now,
times.
what would happen? Let's say I walk through East St. Louis, right? And I'm dressed in my Woody's Gamer shorts and a t-shirt, perhaps some flip-flops, not causing any trouble whatsoever, right? Just on my own walking.
You'd be fucked. Like, I don't know if you've ever been there,
Mhm.
but it's per capita, it's the most dangerous county in the country.
Okay.
What would
East St. Louis
like would someone be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" and start accosting him?
Someone would come up to him. They'd probably punk test him, where they'd have somebody across the street yell like, "Hey, white boy," or something like that. And then depending on your reaction, they would go from there.
What's the
And
right reaction?
If you if you yelled like, "I don't have time for this," or something, and kept walking at your own pace or acted crazy, they'd be less likely to come up to you. But if you said like, "Oh, what's up?" or like, "Oh, hey," or something like that, they would to
That's
come.
totally my natural reaction. Hey, white boy. Sup, bro?
Yeah, and 3 seconds later, you're on the news. So there's
I'm on the news because I fucking shot 7 motherfuckers.
I'll pan out what
You don't have 7 bullets in that gun.
6 motherfuckers.
you'd be
Pistol
screwed.
with
It's an awful area. Even growing up in that city, when I did get my license, and I'm embarrassingly bad with directions. And so there were a couple times I was driving downtown for like a Cardinals game or a Blues game, Rams game, whatever. And I would find myself on the wrong side of the river or past, MLK Ave or something. And suddenly it's like, oh, Jesus, fuck. Like every stoplight is like, is this really a rule? Or this looks like a suggestion right now. And then just blow through it and try to get out of there. Cause it's a scary area. You would not do well walking there past nighttime. I had a cop pull me over when I was like, I guess I was 16 or 17, and I got lost in that area, and I was figuring my way out of it. Like I wouldn't have been screwed, but the guy pulled me over and just like had me roll my window down on my Honda Accord, and the guy was like, "Hey, do you know where you are right now? Like, do you know the way out of here? You definitely want to get out of here." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying. So he pointed me in the right direction, and I left. But like, that's how bad it is. The cops pull you over just to tell you, it's not a great idea.
Do you have your crack yet? Because you really get out. It's almost 9 p.m.
I
Steps in the next corner, just talk to him, and then get the hell out. Like
when I first started dating Jackie, this is like the early 90s. New York was a bit of a mess, and I forget, we were going to clubbing actually in New York, and I got lost because, like you, I am embarrassingly terrible, awful at getting places. This is pre-GPS, and I don't know where I was in New York. I remember we passed Jerome Avenue at one point, but this shit was shady, and there were all sorts of there were abandoned cars all over the place. People huddled around barrels with flames coming out of them. It looked like a scene from Escape from New York. And we're like, we were really fucked, It was only a couple miles before we found ourselves in a better neighborhood. But yeah, I'll never forget it because it was all the way bad. Like, oftentimes I hear this is the ghetto, and I think, what's so ghetto about this? You know, like this grass in the front yard. Yeah, all right. They're like trailers or whatever. It just doesn't look that bad to me. Heck, what's that movie? Is it Friday or Thank God It's Friday or with Chris Tucker?
Friday's the first one. Yeah.
Friday. The neighborhood that they live in and they sit on the front porch of doesn't look bad to me.
No.
You know?
Zone.
What's that?
It's not a war zone.
No, it's not a war zone. My father grew up in a way worse neighborhood than that one. I remember the smell of my dad's neighborhood. Like that was a thing.
Well, all the families in Friday are like working class black people. The I don't know. I know what you mean though. I think I know one of the, it wasn't crime. I don't think I've ever been in a neighborhood that was just scary where I was actually afraid to be there. Of course, I'm usually armed, but I know when we went to Seattle, I don't know if it was Seattle or LA. I think it was Seattle, and then followed by LA. That was the first time I'd seen like real widespread homelessness, and that was crazy. I was just like, here's an untapped market. We got to get these hobos doing something. That's where I came up with the bum racing idea and the Bums Night Out, because there were so many homeless people down by the pier in Seattle. Like we'd go down to the like seafood restaurant, and we're all walking back, and there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of them sleeping down there.
LA's like that too. It feels like Raleigh has a couple homeless people, and Jackie doesn't like it. And you know, whatever. That's just the reality. But in LA, like I've seen 1,500 homeless people in 2 blocks.
Yeah.
They roused them up and out of like the main areas though, like when something like E3's in town. Because I remember that's what they did that year. We were there for E3, and I was like, "Well, there's not that many homeless people." Someone was like, "Oh, normally they are. They really like cleaned this part of the city up like a week in advance. Like they've just pushed the hobos out to the edges of the city." And I don't know if you were outside the hotel that night. I know me and Extras were and a handful of other people. Like I don't know, name 3 commentators, and they were there. But like this black lady comes up. And she's clearly homeless, and I don't remember what she was trying to do. She was just kind of loitering, and it was a really nice hotel. And this black bellhop comes outside, who's also a lady, and they start arguing back and forth. And the homeless lady is calling the bellhop an Uncle Tom, and they're screaming like the N-word back and forth. It was great. She's like, the bellhop's like calling it. She's like, they gonna scoop your ass up too. They gonna scoop your ass up too. And I got the impression that like she'd called that number a few times. That wasn't 911. That was like 1-800-GET-A-BUM. And it was like, come in, throw some white nets over this lady, and just take her somewhere. Like they totally were.
Yeah, it is like a different world. You get into those areas where it's like you don't even feel you don't belong, and you don't feel like you do. Where it's like, one wrong step and I'm kind of fucked. Like if I say the wrong thing or walk the wrong way or pull my phone out at the wrong time.
I've never experienced that. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't like that very much. I know.
Remember, I went to visit my grandmother once, and this is where my dad grew up. It was across the street from a bar in did she live in Camden? Gloucester, New Jersey, which is just outside Camden. And the big thing was, like, on several occasions when we visited, it was like, you know, don't go there because there was a murder across the street last night. And it was always a knife murder. It was, you know, and I'm like, you know, can I walk around today? Yeah. No murders in like weeks. But Gloucester's fucked up.
There are just areas where when you go in areas like that, the people who are near that area are like, oh, you should check out, you know, Tito's bar, but definitely don't take 65th. Like, walk this way. Someone got, you know, beat to death with a tire iron there last week, and you know, you want to steer clear. But
yeah, we used to go and mow her yard and stuff like that, and yeah, it was a wreck. It was a bit of a wreck.
Is Newark? That's a pretty dangerous area, right? Or
Newark's a big city though, right? So there's good parts and bad parts or whatever. I like to think Camden and Patterson are the prizes of New Jersey. That if you want some fucked up neighborhoods, Camden and Patterson is good. I know I've said this before, but did you ever see the movie? I think it
was it Stand By Me? Like Morgan Freeman played this principal who like straightened up the high school.
Yeah, I think that might be Stand By Me.
Crazy Joe Clark was the principal's name. Morgan Freeman high school movie. There we go. It was Lean on Me. So the movie was Lean on Me. By the way, I hear the noise now. My ceiling fan's off. I'm innocent. Anyway, Lean on Me. He played this high school, and it was like the worst caricature of a awful high school. All the kids are like not paying attention, not going to class, pregnant, dropping out, etc. That's where Jackie was zoned for. That was her base school. She went to a Catholic school, but that's where she would have gone had she not done private school. So, yeah, legit. Oh, now that looks like a bad neighborhood. And that second one looks like where my dad grew up.
Oh yeah, those I just like there are huge swaths of East St. Louis, and even before you get there, that look like that. Like North County, where Ferguson isn't even that bad. Where Ferguson and Berkeley are is not nearly as bad as East St. Louis.
Yeah, that second one reminds me of where my father grew up. And in behind the house would be a small yard. Everyone had a chain link fence, and they just have their little like section. And the first one, different, but I also recognize it as not good.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm perceptive enough to catch that one.
Less than ideal.
So phone, which is my hotspot right now, it has 5% life left, 4% now.
I wonder what's going on in Kansas City, Taylor. When I think Kansas City, I think Wild West, frontiersman town, little gun slinging and whiskey on the bar. You know, silver dollars being slapped and on tables and wahoos as horses thunder outside. Because all I know about Kansas City is its references in Wild West. But apparently nowadays it's some sort of a hellhole and a haven for all sorts of evil and evildoers.
It's the second most dangerous city in the state. St. Louis, number one by no one's taking that from us in Missouri. But yeah, it's funny because Kansas City, like, I go there because my brother lives there, and like it feels so much nicer and cleaner than St. Louis. And then you like go to nice cities, and it's like, oh, like this is much nicer than like the homeless situation in St. Louis and KC. But no, Kansas City is a lot of barbecue, and everybody's obsessed with the Chiefs and the Royals, but they're all Blues fans, and so we're cool there, until Kansas City might get their own hockey team. They're on that. They've been on that list for a while.
I just keep reading about something about the government there is always some sort of controversy and scandal. And then I also keep hearing about gang violence and machine guns and stuff in the streets.
Shit. Well, I'll text my brother, see if there's any machine gun fire going down.
Is he strapped with that beam?
He's strapped with that beam. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're strapped, you better have that beam. Yeah.
He's got to switch to match his shoes. On his
Absolutely, he does.
Hell
he's
yeah.
got he's wearing the shoes you do, Air Force Ones, strapped up with his beam.
No, if I'm going out there, you put on the black Air Forces or the and ones if you really want to style and profile.
the and
all right,
ones.
You think black Air Forces are intimidating?
Oh, dude, do you remember that Nelly song, Air Force One?
Get the stomping. My buddy Blake would roast me all the time. That's the other thing he did. Where you heading, Kyle? Where you stomping off to? Are you stomping, Kyle? And he's like a white guy that can dance, so he'd fucking do that shit Nelly would do. Are you stomping, Kyle? You stomping off? Come on, get to stomping. And I'm just like, God damn it, I just want friends.
I just want friends. Stop bullying me. Tell me what I can wear to not get made fun of.
I just went barefoot at that point. Just leave me alone.
Your cities are so dangerous, and I do recognize St. Louis in particular leads the league in homicides, and not just by a little. Like there's no one nipping at their heels. They're
MVPs.
It's a dynasty.
Yeah, it is a dynasty.
But I don't know. I've never been to a city I didn't feel pretty safe in.
It is
New York.
Like I've hung out, like you walk around like Denver, Seattle, like the vibe of homeless people is so wildly different than St. Louis homeless. Like it is like it's fun. Like when I think I have a different perspective on some homeless people, because people will be like, you know, like a lot of them are just guys down on their luck and need this help and this and that. Like, not in fucking St. Louis. Like, the homeless people you run into here are terrifying for the most part. Like, they are talking to themselves. They are making erratic movements. There are big groups of them sometimes. Like, it is the kind of thing where, like, if I was walking somewhere and I saw a big group of homeless people, like, if I was in Seattle, I'd probably just keep going. But like in St. Louis, it's like, no, like I just saw an article of some retard like me thinking he could walk past this, like a group like this, and he got stabbed in the head. And because there's 15 other murders happening, no one comes, you know, you just kind of die. So
when I was in LA,
there's no reward because there's nothing fun to do in St. Louis City other than Blues games and Cardinals games. There's nothing there. It is a paintball course of bullshit, that whole city, other than Blues games and Cardinals games. Like, and so if there was a big to do where it's like, oh, maybe we'll brave the shitty part of the city for this fun event. No, decades ago, St. Louis shifted everything but the professional sports stadiums out to the county because it's a shithole. It's awful. Like, our St. Louis isn't even managed by the same group of people who manage St. Louis County. St. Louis City and St. Louis County are totally different governments. And one is run very well and is kept clean and is kept nice. And the other is ran like a fucking third world country.
How would you fix St. Louis? Just aggressive policing?
It would have to be really aggressive. Like, you'd have to make it so that people felt safe investing. I mean, that's just kind of the baseline, is like, you need to make it so that people feel like, hey, I'm going to make money on this restaurant I'm going to put here next to the Enterprise Center, instead of like, well, you know, Wheelhouse is, you know, that bar down there, like, just in the past 5 years, it's gotten so dangerous where they are. The traffic's gone down. Like, it, I don't think
homeless
there's any
for more than 7 days, death penalty. What do you think?
I think it's a start. Yeah, I think I think homeless for 1 day, they nab you up and they take you to some center where they can like make
What if
sure
you're
you're
just
good.
on your way to work.
You're just on your way.
You're not in a home. I got you.
No, I'm on the way to work. And you know what? Then you know what problem that causes is we have an epidemic of homeless people behaving like to try and not be uncovered. Oh no. But realistically, like, I think that would help, because then you could suss out the people who are like, you know, this person has a drug issue, but other than that is like neurologically all there and everything, versus someone who's like, this is a damn shame, but this person is broken. Like, you can't let this person hang out. This person can't walk around in school zones on their own. You know, like,
when I was in LA, the homeless people that I interacted with were crazy, talking to themselves, not making sense. They might have been on drugs, and I mixed that up with crazy, but they seemed crazy to me. In North Carolina, they're chill. They look like they belong at a Grateful Dead concert. They have tents.
Yeah, that's what the Seattle homeless were like. Seattle homeless were like smugly homeless.
Yeah, there's, you know, it runs the gamut, I guess. You get a little bit of everything, but some of them are definitely scary. The people who are doing van life stuff, the people who are like grinding out this cool kind of existence in gym locker rooms and campsites and stuff, I can respect that. I bet that's a cool lifestyle and an experience to get. But, you know, then there's all those homeless people who are crazed and violent, and they're there because I've said this before, and it's not always true, but for someone to end up homeless, they either have to be mentally ill and not responsible for themselves anymore, or to be such a piece of shit that no one will back them anymore. They don't have an auntie to go stay with because they stole from her. Granny too. Brother-in-law too. Best friend, second best friend, third best friend, and his cousin. Stayed with them, tried to live on a couch, same thing happened. TV's gone again. You know, they've run out of, would you please pick me ups? They're not answering anymore. He doesn't have the number anymore. And now he's just a piece of shit on the street. I think that happens a lot too.
Like, I don't think I would be able to kill someone.
That's because you got to
well
work
at
on your
all.
mouse and keyboard skills.
And granted, if they were invading my homeland, very, very different. And so I think that would probably
You get the
be
fuck out of St. Louis. Hell, you might do some good. Come on. Yeah, behind me.
Honestly, if Russia unironically invaded St. Louis, I think a lot of people here would be like, let's wait, let's see what ideas they have. Like, and then it's like, oh, something to stop crime. Oh, public executions. Well, okay, we'll try it. We'll try it. We'll see if that works.
I think it was in 30 Rock. they mentioned St. Louis or something. I think the joke was something like this. It was like, have you been to St. Louis and seen the Arch? I flew over once and thought I did, but it turned out to be a half burned down McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, there's the when you fly from the east over St. Louis, if you can unfortunately see any of the like East St. Louis city leading up to the city, it just is such a bad reflection on us. Like no one who lives in St. Louis, we do not take ownership of East St. Louis. That's fucking Illinois. That's Illinois. East St. Louis, Illinois. St. Louis, Missouri, very nice. That's the nice side of St. Louis. St. Louis, East St. Louis, Illinois, dog shit, the worst.
Good, huh?
Same way, Kansas City, the Missouri side of Kansas City, nice as shit, awesome. The Kansas side of Kansas City leaves something to be desired, other than Overland Park, which is full of really.
I'm sure
rich
I've asked
people.
before, but have you been up in the Arch?
Yeah,
Like top of it,
I went
everything?
when I was a kid up to the Arch.
Yeah, I guess
they have those.
Every
goofy,
Missouri man has to. Is a rite of passage.
Everyone who goes to school in the St. Louis area has to go up in the Arch eventually. And yeah, it's like, I don't think they've redone the elevators. I think I told you this before. The elevators aren't boxes. They're white ovals that like sit in the bottom of those legs or whatever, or in part of it. And so you sit in these little chairs in a circle with people, and then that takes you to the top of the Arch. And then you get out and the lady's like, watch your step, it's curved. And it's like, yeah, I know. And then you step out and you're like, oh fuck, like yeah, it's really it really is fucking curved up here. It's
you've
neat.
been
Like
to the
there's a
top
good
of the,
view.
you've been to the top of the Willis building too, right? Or the Sears I used to be the Sears
The
Tower,
Willis
the
Tower?
Willis, and then maybe it's something else now. Woody
Chicago?
and Joe went up there one time.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't go to the. I've been to Chicago many times. Never went to the top of the. Or no, when I was a kid, when it was still the Sears Tower, we did that.
You stand out on the little like glass protrusion that you can like look down to the street below.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
That was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day.
It's real tall.
Man, Seattle must be an interesting place.
I like
I've been there.
Seattle.
My car got broken into when I was in Seattle.
Oh,
Yeah, I lived in St. Louis my whole life. Spent 3 nights in Seattle, get my fucking car broken into. It's like, what the hell?
What were you
I thought
doing
I was
there,
safe.
PAX?
No, this is years ago. I was going on to a concert.
I saw some weird shit in Seattle. There was some homeless people that had eaten a pigeon, and it was completely deboned and defeathered, just laying there, just the skeleton amongst them on the ground as I walked past. That was shocking. And then, of course, down by the pier or the wharf, whatever the fuck they call it, down by that big carousel that's is it called a carousel? No. What's Ferris wheel?
Is that like fish market area?
Yeah, down by the fish market where that amazing fish restaurant is that I eat at every time I go to Seattle. Like just like a block north of that, I'm gonna guess 80 homeless people are under one like covered roof type thing. There's like a roof like overhangs a building, and they're all fucking just hanging out there at night. It was like stumbling upon a horde of zombies. It was scary, honestly.
I remember the homeless people in Seattle, and maybe I had a different experience because it was during the day. But I've never seen a gaggle of homeless people that I was less intimidated by than the ones I saw in Seattle. Because St. Louis homeless are no joke. They're mean as fuck. I've told before. Kyle and Woody thought I was joking when I'm like, we've had a series of hammer-related murders here by homeless people. And the next week I linked one of a homeless maniac who tried to murder 4 people in an abandoned school. Like, and the Seattle one seemed more like, hey man, kind of homeless.
If you Google St. Louis and then the word hammer, it'll autofill to murder.
I'm gonna test that.
Really?
I want to
Which
see.
year would you like to search? Yeah. Yeah,
like it goes. It autofills to attack, death, beating, killing, and Bosnian. Bosnian being referenced because they beat a Bosnian man to death with hammers. That was. Look, we're not talking about one event. We're
This
talking about
wouldn't
multiple
be
hammer
your
murders.
search history, would it? Things you've typed before?
No, that's
No, it's
exactly
not.
what I got. I got, yeah, exactly what Kyle said. Attack, death, killing, beating, Bosnian. Yeah, those are the top 5.
What? Mine's so boring. Mine's weather, Cardinal schedule, arch, blue zoo, Cardinals.
Did you type St. Louis hammer?
Oh no.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
put hammer in there. because otherwise people
Oh.
are going to want to go to the Cardinals game.
That was my mistake. Attack, death, killing, beating, Bosnian, attack, race, victim, homicide, and assault.
If you're going to go to a Cardinals game, be sure to go on bat night. You want to be able to defend yourself outside the park.
Yeah, if you type in St. Louis Hammer, there is nothing construction related in here.
No. It's a scary fucking place. One of the attacks was like five guys beat a Bosnian man to death. With each of them had a hammer, I guess. They were not a part-time construction crew. They were just crazy people. And then the other was a homeless man beating other homeless men with a hammer. They were in like an abandoned school or something like that, abandoned mental, something like that. And like he like sneaks up on a group of homeless men who are asleep and starts hammering the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I think that was in East STL, which I really don't go there too often.
Not
but
East STL.
I have. Well, that's like the really terrible area. Yeah, the East St. Louis. That's the area. I have some friends who are always like, "You want to go to the strip clubs?" And all of the like really known strip clubs. Like, you remember the movie Bad Grandpa?
Yeah.
Where he goes to those strip clubs and it's just out of control, raucous. That's all East St. Louis. And they're all like, my friends will be like, let's go there. Let's go there. And I feel like I'm the only one who's like, why? Why would we willingly go to the only part in this nation that's comparable to Honduras with murder? Like, no, let's not do this. Let's not go. We can go to a strip club, in the main city. But yeah. Anyway, Seattle's a nice town. I like it. Very good seafood.
You call it home?
I mean, it's a nice town. I was only there for a few days, but I liked it.
Oh, Seattle. You're saying
Yeah,
I'm
Seattle.
thinking St. Louis. My mistake.
Yeah. St. Louis is my home, but more just because I was born here.
If
I lived in like Tampa or Miami or something, I wouldn't be like, man, St. Louis is probably nice this time of year. Like, hell no.